Hello, welcome to episode 2 of the Gilmore Girls Reading Challenge. Yes?
It's been a while.
It has. What's our name for this series? Do you remember?
The Get Out More Girls?
Yeah.
Yeah, we should get out more. We should stay in more so that we can read quicker.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
And when was our last episode?
I don't know. I think I've had about 2 birthdays since then.
You have not had 2 birthdays.
It was a while ago.
Yes, it was June last year.
Well,
Almost 2
okay,
birthdays.
I've had 1 birthday and the other one is coming up.
If you don't know what we're doing here, we're doing the Gilmore Girls Reading Challenge, but kind of in a twisted way. So we're not trying to read 400 books, which is on like the 4 Rory Gilmore reading list. We're going through the books mentioned in some way in each episode.
What we basically did was chose 1 book from each episode.
Not from each episode.
Not from each episode.
From a certain number of episodes. We go through all the books and then we pick one and then we read it. And the first one we read, we looked at books from episodes 1 and 2 and we ended up reading Little Dorrit by Charles Dickens. And it took us a year.
Yeah, because the book that we chose was over 900 pages long.
Yes.
Yeah, But we didn't realise that when we first got it, because it actually is 2 books. Little Dorrit is 2 books. Book the second. Book the first and book the second.
Yeah, but it was 1 book. You wouldn't read book 1 and never
it's
read book 2.
It's printed in 1 book, but it could have been 2 books.
Yeah.
Couldn't it?
No. So last year I did say that we had a Discord for this challenge, but because we absolutely failed at reading it to a time, I'm just going to get rid of the Discord, I think. So if you do want to join us with this challenge, then feel free to write your feelings about the books in the comments down below. I think that's the easiest way to do it, because we cannot be trusted with Discord. We did not use it properly, and I really apologise for that. But yeah, if you read Little Dorrit and you want to talk to us, then do chat down below, and we'll chat about it down there. Yes. Cool. Okay, so last time I went through a blog that was written for episodes 1 and 2, and we picked from those books.
Right.
But I found a Gilmore Girls Wiki that has way more information about those more books in the show.
That's good.
So we have watched since June, episodes 3 to 7.
We've been busy. Busy.
Episodes 3 to 7, and so I've gone down and I've made a list of all the books from episodes 3 to 7, and then I'm going to talk to Mum about them. I'm going to tell her what they are, and we're going to pick 1 book from that list. Because I found a list with much more detail, that does mean there are quite a lot of books on this list.
Okay.
And next time we'll just do episodes 8 to 10, so we only have to pick from 3 episodes and not...
Right, okay.
Yeah. Okay, so should we talk about Little Dorrit at the end then? Should we do this first? And then
Yeah, let's do this first, and then we can chat away about Little Dorrit at the end,
Okay.
and you can just come out with the thing that goes, spoilers, spoilers, spoilers.
Yes, stay tuned for Little Dorrit. Okay, so let's work out what we're reading for this next round. Episode 3 was an episode called Kill Me Now.
Right.
And it was the golf episode where Rory goes to play golf with her granddad. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah, I do, yeah.
Yeah. There will be Gilmore Girl spoilers as well, by the way. Okay, so there are quite a lot of books down here. So we have, first of all, Mencken's Crestomathy by H.L. Mencken. And also by the same author is My Life as an Author and Editor. And I'd never heard of this person, and I looked them up, and they were like this old school American journalist and writer. And the first book is a collection of writings that he's pulled together, and the second book is his autobiography, I guess.
Yeah, moving on. Don't like the sound of that one too much.
Well, we don't know who he is.
No,
so
we don't.
He's probably, maybe he's loved in America, I don't know. But
Maybe.
okay, the next one is any works. Okay, so we go through the books, but if an author's mentioned, we can also read any book by that author. Just to be...
Give us more choice.
Give us more choice, although we have a lot of choice this time.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next one up is Plato, who is a Greek philosopher. He
Yeah.
was a Greek philosopher.
Yeah.
Any interest in Plato? Is he going on the maybe list?
Is it about Plato? Is it Plato's
No, like
ramblings?
Plato's works, like his
His works,
books
not
that he's
ramblings.
written, yeah.
Okay. Plato's books.
Yeah.
Sounds
Philosophy.
Sounds a bit... I quite like a bit of philosophy, but it sounds a bit highbrow. Maybe.
Maybe, okay, put that in
Maybe.
the list. Next up, I know is one of your favourite ones. Apparently Rory quoted from this author,
Yeah.
Mark Twain.
Next.
Okay, no Mark Twain.
Doing
Okay,
Mark
and the
Twain.
last one from episode 3 is a book by someone called Grace Metalicious. I actually don't know how to pronounce that author's name.
Bootylicious.
It's not Bootylicious.
Okay.
And it's Peyton Place.
Ah, I loved Peyton Place. It
You
used
know
to
what
be-
that is?
I know what Peyton Place. That's because I'm old. Peyton Place used to be an American soap opera which used to run in the 70s, I think, maybe even before that, 60s,
Right.
70s, 80s, around that time. Oh, I'd be interested in Peyton Place because I've forgotten all about it.
Yeah, because it's like, well, I looked it up and it says it's set in a perfect town, but there's all stuff going on.
Yeah, it's like every other soap opera.
Oh, okay.
You know, like, yeah.
A soap opera based on a book. Or was
Well,
it like
Peyton Place-
Dallas? Was it a series?
Yeah. I was quite young, but yeah, I definitely
okay.
remember Peyton Place.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that's going on the list then.
You might like sound.
All right, that was episode 3. Episode 4, it was called The Deer Hunters, and that's when Rory got bashed by a deer.
Oh yeah, she did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. You don't have any thoughts on these episodes so far?
No.
No.
I've been asleep since I've watched.
Okay, for this episode we've got, first of all, a poem, and it's called Essay on Criticism by Alexander Pope.
Right.
Not interested?
I've heard of Alexander Pope. That's it.
Okay.
That's all I've got
Well,
on that.
alright, I'll put the poem up because there's only a poem.
No. You can say it's only a poem, but there's only a poem, and then there's like whole sonnets and things that go on to take up an entire book. So
yeah, that's true.
There's a caveat on that. I need to know how many pages long that poem is.
Well, let's just look it up now. We can see how long Essay on Criticism is.
Essay on Criticism. I feel like I could have written that myself. The Essay on Criticism.
I mean, I'll be honest, I'm not sure how interested I am by the sound of it.
Okay.
Oh, 48 pages.
Oh, 48. 48 pages?
Yeah.
A poem that's 48 pages?
Yep.
That's a book.
Okay.
That's not a poem, that's a book.
Next up, we've got 4 sonnets of Shakespeare.
Oh, I love
16,
Shakespeare.
116, 126, and 145.
Pages?
No,
What?
the sonnet numbers.
Oh.
Now, I did try and read a sonnet last year, and I had to watch about 8 YouTube videos to explain what the hell was going on.
Yeah,
as
the
well.
thing is with Shakespeare, and I did enjoy Shakespeare at school, and I have seen Shakespeare at the Barbican, not personally because he's dead now, but I do enjoy Shakespearean plays, but there is a lot of it that you don't really know what they're talking about.
Okay, let's put the sonnets as a maybe as well. I should be
Maybe.
marking these because
Yeah,
I
you
don't
should.
remember what
Get a
we've
pen.
put on the maybe. Okay, well, next up is 3 things to do with Shakespeare. First of all, the Comedy of Errors.
Oh, right, yeah.
I don't know anything about that.
No, I don't.
Then there was like Rory was holding the Oxford Shakespeare, so I don't know if that's just the collection of all his plays.
Yeah, that's probably everything. So
Yeah.
we
Not
can't
gonna happen.
no, anything that's an Oxford collection, it's going to be about that big. So
Okay, next up we've got Richard III. No? Yeah. I mean, Spencer did say, oh, you should read the Comedy of Errors.
yeah, I mean, out of those 3, I would say Comedy of Errors.
Okay. And then there was like a whole bunch of different authors around Shakespeare's time that were
Right.
mentioned. So we've got Shakespeare, Marlowe, Bacon, Ben Jonson, and John Webster.
Right.
Do you know anything about any of those people?
No.
The only one I don't really know about their
Marlowe.
plays.
I've heard of Marlowe because
Yeah.
Marlowe. They think that Marlowe. No, I've got that wrong. Go on. Do you say no? Didn't Marlowe?
Yeah, don't they think that Marlowe might have written
some of Shakespeare's
Yeah.
plays.
I think so.
Was his name Christopher
Maybe.
Marlowe?
His name
Look at that. See,
Kit Marlowe.
Kit Marlowe. Well, Kit's
Kit
short
Mar-
for Christopher. So there you go.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, the one John Webster I'm interested in reading. John Webster was supposed to be quite gory. I don't like horror, but that just intrigues me.
Right. Okay. Circle Marlowe because
Marlowe.
we both heard of Marlowe. So it'd be interesting.
Okay.
It would be interesting to read something written by Kit Marlowe, just to see how close his style of writing was to Shakespeare.
Even though we've read no Shakespeare.
I've read Shakespeare.
Oh.
Read Shakespeare at
I
school.
mean, yeah, I've seen Romeo and Juliet.
I've read Shakespeare. I've read that, and I've read some of Twelfth Night. Didn't understand it.
Yeah. But you're still happy to do a comparison with Shakespeare and Marlowe.
Yeah, because I'm older now, I might understand more.
Okay. All right, well, I'm putting John Webster down as well because I'm interested in that.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on to episode 5. It was Cinnamon's Wake. You remember the cat?
Oh, yeah, that was good. That was a good episode. I like
Yeah.
that episode.
First book is A Room of One's Own by Virginia Woolf.
No,
Yes,
absolutely not.
I liked Virginia
We
Woolf.
do not like Virginia Woolf.
What did we read?
Mrs. Dalloway.
Mrs. Dalloway, yeah.
I could have nodded off, and I started to read Mrs. Dalloway, and started to nod off, and then I found this was for a book club, and I found a visual version of Mrs. Dalloway on YouTube, which was a film made in 1998 or something. The film actually was quite good. I didn't mind the story being told via a visual version, but as for reading it, I was bored.
But my favourite part about Mrs. Dalloway was like the fact that you moved through everybody's thoughts. I thought it was really clever. I'd never read anything like that again. You can't get that in the film. Like moving through
you didn't.
thoughts
Yeah,
to
but you
thoughts.
haven't seen the film. You didn't watch the film.
I watched 10 minutes of the film, turned it off.
This is how we're different.
So you don't want to read another Virginia Woolf?
I don't want to read another.
But what if it's
no,
good?
it won't be. It's Virginia Woolf. No.
Okay, next up we've got Finnegan's Wake by James Joyce.
Oh, I've heard of that. Know nothing about it.
I looked it up, and on Goodreads it said it's a story with no beginning or no end.
Yeah. Oh.
And it's Irish.
Yeah.
I'd be interested to read it.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
That sounds quite interesting.
What, because it's got no beginning and no end?
Because it's Irish.
Okay. And there's another playwright, John Paul. Oh, how do you pronounce his name?
Sartre.
I know nothing about this.
Jean-Paul Sartre. Neither do I, but I know how to pronounce his name. That's it.
Off the list, or because we don't know?
Yeah, we don't know anything. Crossbow. We've got lots of maybes on there, so just for now.
All right. Okay. Fine.
Okay.
Okay. I told you we had a lot because we watched loads of episodes.
Well, I know.
All right. Episode 6. Rory's birthday parties. There was only
poor Rory.
Yeah, that was sad. Forced. Yeah, that was when all our schoolmates were mean to her.
Yeah.
When they went round. Anyway. Okay. Rory's birthday parties. We've only one for this episode, and it's called The Age of Innocence by Edith Wharton. This sounded quite interesting because it was the winner of the 1921 Pulitzer Prize, it said.
I was 1921.
Mum!
Do you know, I've got something against... I can't be coping with the 1921...
The 1920s. It's the golden age of New York, with desire and betrayal. No! I was interested in that one. Okay, fine. And Cinderella. I'm not reading Cinderella. We've read it. We've read Cinderella.
I do know the story of Cinderella. Yeah, no, we don't. Let's not.
We
do
don't need to
Cinderella.
read Cinderella.
No, we don't.
Oh, I totally forgot. We read The Little Match Girl as well.
I didn't forget that. We did. We read 2 books.
You
The
didn't
Little
bring it
Match
up
Girl.
in the intro.
Well, I know, because I thought you might mention it now, because I thought we were talking about Little Dorrit. But yeah, The Little Match Girl we read, which was quite a sad little tale, wasn't it?
Yeah, we'll talk about that at the end as well.
Yeah.
Okay, the final episode, episode 7, was Kiss and Tell, where Rory had her first kiss with Dean.
Ah, in the shop. Spoiler. Yeah.
No, it wasn't in the shop.
He leant forward and he kissed her in the shop at the checkouts. Or over the ice cream.
Did he?
Yeah, he did.
I thought Lorelai was peeking on them outside.
The first time he kissed her and you said, well, that was just so wrong because that wasn't consensual. He didn't ask.
I do not remember saying that.
She did. He leant over and he kissed her, and Kimberly was outraged because he didn't ask if he could kiss her.
I could have been outraged. I don't even remember.
Well, that's what happened. We can watch it again if you like, but that's what happened.
Yeah, I don't believe that. Okay, 2 from Kiss and Tell, The Crucible by Arthur Miller, which is...
I've heard of it. That's about as far as I can go.
It's like about the Salem witch trials and stuff.
Yeah, no.
Okay, and the last one is a mention of Lothario, who is apparently from a story, in the story Don Quixote?
Don Quixote.
Quixote. Don't know anything.
Just as well I'm here, isn't it, really?
Yeah. Apparently how do you say it again?
Don Quixote.
Don Quixote. Are you sure?
Absolutely.
That doesn't sound right.
I'm sorry, but it's Don Quixote. It is.
Okay.
That's how I can say it, because it's donkey, just got OT on the end.
Quixote.
Don Quixote.
Okay. He was apparently that story was apparently influential on Dickens.
Oh, right, okay. What's it called?
Well, I don't know. It's Don Quixote?
Don Quixote. No.
By Miguel de Saavedra.
Okay, fine. So what's this Lothario?
That he is a character in the story of Don Quixote.
Oh, God. I've got a headache. I thought Lothario was a Shakespearean character. No, clearly not.
Well, this is the one that was mentioned in the Gilmore Girls, according to the Gilmore Girls Wiki.
Maybe it was just in general that a Lothario is what's the other word for a Lothario? A guy who's very flirtatious and has all the women.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a Lothario.
All right, well, let's put that as a maybe, because I thought maybe because he influenced Dickens that maybe you'd like it.
Maybe.
Okay, so on the list we have Don Quixote, Finnegan's Wake.
Oh, right, yeah.
The Irish one.
Yeah, yeah.
Then we also put down maybe Marlowe, maybe a John Webster play.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. A Comedy of Errors by William Shakespeare.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe some sonnets. Although, did we scrap that?
Not sure.
The Essay on Criticism by Alexandra Pope.
Yeah,
Nah, I don't want to read
cross
that.
out,
Yeah, okay, cross off. Peyton Place.
Peyton Place.
And then we also had Plato. We're getting rid of Plato as well. We don't want to read
Plato.
philosophy. That'll take us 5 years.
Yeah, we're not going to get there.
Before Little Dorrit was
That's
long.
something you have to study at the university.
All right.
At the moment, I'm leaning towards Finnegan's Wake.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't know anything about it?
No, I know. That's why I'm leaning towards
Okay,
it.
all right.
But I've heard about it. I've heard it mentioned, you know.
Yeah, I am interested in Peyton Place.
I'm not sure that you would be if you actually read it.
Right.
Because unless you were interested in things that were a bit like Dallas and
Right.
Knots Landing. Anyone remember Knots Landing? That was great. Love Knots Landing.
See, Don Quixote as well, I'm interested in reading.
I vote for Vinegar. Finnegan's Wake.
Finnegan's
Is my
Wake.
first choice. And if it's short, maybe we could do Don Quixote as well.
I think that one is over 1,000 pages though.
What is?
Don Quixote.
No, we're not doing that. No, listen, we're not going to be back for episodes. I'm going to be 70 and all this hair will just be white and I'll be sitting there going, well, it's taken a while, but we finally finished it.
What voice was that?
That was my 70-year-old
Okay, all right,
voice.
hang on. All right, let's look up
It's a
Finnegan's
bit more
Wake
Monty
then.
Python than anything else though, wasn't it? She'll edit all this because she doesn't like me to put jokes in.
What
It's
rubbish!
true. If I see this bit in the video, I'll be surprised.
You're only saying that to try and make me put it
And
in.
you'll never know whether I said it or not because only I will know.
What do you mean? Well,
Never
they
mind.
will know if they watch the video.
See how long Finnegan's choice is. Finnegan's Wake. Sorry.
Finnegan's Wake.
Finnegan's
Okay.
Wake. I think I was gone over to cheese. Pilgrim's Choice.
628 pages. Shall I read the description?
Yeah, read the description.
A story with no real beginning or end. It ends in the middle of a sentence and begins in the middle of the same sentence. This book of double ends ginned is as remarkable for its prose as for its circular structure. Written in a fantastic dream language forged from polyglot... This doesn't tell us anything about the story. Hilarious characters, the Irish barkeep Humphrey Chimpton Earwicker, Shem the penman,
Oh, brilliant.
Sean the postman, and Anna Livia Purabell. I'm just not sure about the whole lyrical writing thing, I'll be honest. I'm worried about that. That's a long book if you don't get on with the writing style. And if it's all like dream-like, I don't know.
I quite like the sound of it.
Okay, alright.
Finnegan's Wake.
Okay.
It's got some comedy in it. I quite
Okay.
like the idea it's got some comedy in it.
Alright, well, we'll give it a go.
Yay!
And is that the only one that we're reading then?
What was the other
Because it
one
was
on there?
600. Well, the rest is like Shakespeare and...
Let's stick with it for now,
All right,
and then we'll
yeah.
see. And I mean, it could always be that if we discover
But
that we're
it's-
not getting on with it,
Yeah.
we can just make a short video going, that didn't work.
Yeah, and
so
then
we're
we'll
going to
pick-
do this.
And we'll pick another one.
we'll pick another one.
Yeah, I'm worried about it. Also, it was written in 1939.
Oh, it's a little bit better. It's the 1920 stuff that I can't. 1910.
What's that? Everybody loves
it's the
1920s.
no, not me. The 1910s and no, turn of this. No, it's all a
Okay.
bit dull and not. Yeah.
Okay. Would you have chosen Finnegan's Wake? Well, is that the right name I'm saying? Yeah, Finnegan's Wake.
Finnegan's Wake.
Oh my god. Yeah, I'd love to know what you would choose out of this list. And if you want to read Finnegan's Wake with us, feel free.
Oh, please read it with us
But-
because it might make us read it a bit quicker.
It won't. We already proved that with Little Dorrit. That we cannot be encouraged. Is Finnegan's Wake readable? James Joyce's Finnegan's Wake doesn't work like other novels. It has lines like, what clashes here of wills Jen wants, oystrogoids, gagging fishygogs. In some ways, this makes the book almost impossible to read.
Yeah, we've changed our minds.
How many languages are in Finnegan's Wake? The book is, if not a foreign language, with its made-up words and scramble of over 60 languages.
Oh no, it's just impossible. We're never going to get there. I mean, I can't even read it because I'm laughing so much. The great fall of the off-wall entailed at such short notice the Finnegan, a solid man, that the Humpty Hillhead of himself promptly sends an unquiring one well to the west in quest of his doctors. I'm literally crying. Are you, Jeff?
You understood that bit?
I understood that bit.
It is considered by many to be the most difficult work of literature ever published.
Oh no,
in
she
the
didn't
English
tell me
language.
that.
I didn't know.
You didn't tell me that when you gave me it as a choice.
I didn't know. There's no way Rory's read this. What nonsense! So we're choosing again.
Oh, that's got to go. I can't cope with that.
No, we're not smart enough for that book. Let's
We're
put
not.
it that way.
I don't think anybody is.
I'm all for Don Quixote.
No, I'm for Peyton Place now. After that, Don Quixote's probably going to be just as bad.
It will not.
Oh, come
It's
on.
written in one language, surely.
Yeah, it's probably not English. It's
It'll be
written in-
translated.
Yeah, but then if it's translated, it might not translate well. Let's have a quick look and see if I can download a sample. Let's see if I can read it. So,
Chapter 1, here we go.
17.
Which treats of the character and pursuits of the famous gentleman Don Quixote of La Mancha. In the village of La Mancha, the name of which I have no desire to call to mind, there lived not long since one of those gentlemen that keep a lance in the lance rack, an old buckler, a lean hack, and a greyhound for coursing. I can understand that. Just about. An olla of rather more beef than mutton, a salad on most nights, scraps on Saturdays, lentils on Fridays, vegetarian meal, and a pigeon or so extra on Sundays.
Maybe it was a vegetarian pigeon.
Made way with 3/4 of his income.
Yeah.
This is readable. All right, hang on. Should we see the star rating?
I'm still pushing for Peyton Place. Mind you, my choice was terrible, so
Yeah.
it should be your choice, really.
Let's see if it's Peyton Place. Oh God, this is turning into a terrible. We're gonna have to go to William Shakespeare in a minute.
Indian summer
Oh, God.
is like a woman, ripe, hotly
it?
passionate,
Jeez.
but fickle. She comes and goes as she pleases, so that one is never sure whether she will come at all, nor for how long she will stay. In northern New England, Indian summer puts up a scarlet-tipped hand to hold winter back for a little while. She brings with her the time of the last warm spell, an uncharted season which lives until winter moves in with its backbone of ice and accoutrements of leafless trees and hard frozen ground.
Right, we're gonna go on to Goodreads and see the results. Have you got Goodreads? I'll look up Don Quixote and you look up the other one. Don Quixote has got 3.89 stars.
This isn't on Goodreads.
No, not on Kindle Store.
Oh,
No. They're always higher rated, I find, on those things.
hang on. Right, it's got 3.78 reviews from 11,100 ratings on Goodreads.
How many pages is that?
I don't know. Where does it say that?
Go on book details.
Book details.
No.
Oh, right. That one said it's bright. Book details.
384
pages. What's yours?
This is Little Dorrit sized.
Peyton Place wins!
Okay, we're reading Peyton Place.
It's in English.
Oh no, but I really want to read this. Don Quixote has become so entranced by reading chivalric romances that he determines to become a knight-errant himself. In the company of his faithful squire Sancho Panza, his exploits blossom in all sorts of wonderful ways. While Quixote's fancy often leads him astray, he tilts at windmills, imagining them to be giants. I don't know what my name is. Sancho acquires cunning and a certain sagacity. Sane madman and wise fool, they roam the world together, and together they have haunted readers' imaginations for nearly 400 years. Oh, it's old.
400 years?
1605.
1605? What, this was written in 1605?
Now I'm worried. That's
5
quite
past
old.
4? Sorry. It was written in 1605.
Yeah.
Oh no, we should do that. It's better than 1920.
It says this book has been enormously influential on a host of writers, including Dickens.
Oh, there you go.
Peyton Place or this?
Well, I'd go for Peyton Place because it's shorter.
When was Peyton Place written?
The 50s, yeah.
But I feel like this challenge is supposed to be a challenge, right?
Right, okay, so you've read your bit out. Here we go. Peyton Place. First published in 1956, Peyton Place uncovers the passions, lies and cruelties that simmer beneath the surface of a postcard-perfect town. At the centre of the novel are three women, each with a secret to hide. Constance Mackenzie, that's a name, isn't it? The original desperate housewife, her daughter Alison, whose dreams are stifled by small-town small-mindedness, and Selina Cross, her gypsy-eyed friend from the wrong side of the tracks. Sounds a little bit politically incorrect, but you choose, because I chose Dickens, didn't I? We do your Don Quixote if you want to. Don Quixote.
I'm worried now. I know it's from the 1600s, because is that going to be unreadable as well?
No, because I think what you need, what would be quite good for you, is because you like to read books that are fantasy books, and they're often set in that kind of era.
Yeah, true.
So now you'll be reading something authentic from that kind of era, and then you'll be able to see how well your fantasy authors have managed to.
All right, this is how we decide. We go back on Goodreads.
Goodreads.
We find a 1-star review.
A 1-star review.
And whoever's 1-star review is the best is the winner.
There are none. Everybody loves it.
Yeah, mine's all 5 stars too.
Yeah, I found a one. Go on, do yours.
I understood the importance of the tropes and the impact of the story it had at the time, but I'm not a fan.
Oh.
Very boring.
And for Peyton Place, 1 star, someone called Laura wrote this 14 years ago. I always heard this book was fun and saucy. I had to check it out. It's pretty much a piece of crap, but it has some hilarious moments that made it worth my time. Oh, so she said 1, but it's got some favourite things. My favourite thing was the females' characters, I'm not reading that out, supposedly sexy habits of doing something to turn men on. Strange, it says. Mind you, now I know it's got that in it, I'm not sure I want to read it. You have to go on to Goodreads and you look for a 1-star review for someone called Laura, who gave 14 years ago. If you want to know what it was that she commented on.
All right, for the sake of this challenge, let's go for Peyton Place because it will be quicker.
Yeah, I just think for that reason.
Yeah, okay.
We've got a busy summer, haven't we?
All right, let's do that. Peyton Place it is.
Peyton Place it is. At least it's in English.
And not 60 other languages all at once.
Is your name Jeff?
All right, now it's time to chat Little Dorrit. So if you haven't read Little Dorrit...
look away.
Unless you don't mind spoilers, and then...
We can talk about the entire story.
Yeah, are we? How long are we going to be sitting here?
Well, we're just sitting for a while.
1,000 pages.
So basically, the story is set in London in the 1840s? No.
1850s was it written?
Oh, okay. In the 19th century.
We did read it.
We did read it, promise, yeah? Yeah, okay, so it was a long time ago. And it's set in London, and the basic story is of a young girl whose name is Amy. Spoiler alert, straight away. Yes. And she's known as Little Dorrit. And her dad had got into a lot of trouble and ended up in the debtor's prison called the Marshalsea. And it's a kind of sort of almost a bit of an open prison because people sort of come in and out quite a lot. And it was a bit of a thing back in the day that they had these debtors' prisons. And Charles Dickens himself, his own father ended up in a debtors' prison. So that's how come Charles Dickens knew about the subject. So it starts off with stories about this, and this young girl is very poor, but she's very kind. And quiet, and she takes very good care of her dad. Yes. But that's not how the story opened. It didn't open actually with them. It opened with Blandois.
Oh God, it did open with Blandois.
Opened with Blandois and whatever the other guy's name was.
Oh, what's his name?
Yeah, I can't remember his name.
Oh.
But they were in prison together in a different country, serving time together for, we didn't really know what at the time, did we?
No.
We might have done. So you've got all these different scenarios. So you've got Amy and her dad and her brother and sister all living in the Marshalsea, and then you've got the two prisoners abroad. Forget what country they were in. Then you've also got on a cruise. You've got on a cruise.
Yeah.
You've got
Mr. Meagles.
Mr. Meagles. I only called him Myrtle. See.
No, there is a Myrtle too.
Mr. Meagles and his wife and his daughter,
Yeah.
who they referred to as Pet,
Yeah.
and their kind of adopted daughter, who they named Tattycoram, which is quite sad that they gave her such a horrible name, but I guess she was quite a tatty girl, that's why they came up with that name. And Dickens is brilliant at coming up with really descriptive names for people.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's how it starts, really, and as the stories go on, the people interweave, don't they?
Yeah.
So you can take over now.
So overall, I really liked it.
I absolutely loved it.
I did love it. And now I miss it. I went to do some hanging with washing the other day and I was like, oh, I'll just put Little Dorrit on. Oh, I finished it. It was sad. I love the way that Dickens wrote the characters. Like, he gave the characters, like, personality through descriptions of objects sometimes. And it took a little while to get used to, like, who was who. Like, there was a character who's described as a tugboat. And it took me like a few chapters where I was like, wait, what's going on? They'd be like, oh, this tugboat came chugging along.
Yeah, because when you first meet this particular character, you can say the character's name, can't we? Panks?
Yeah, Panks.
I kept calling him Panks, didn't I? And you got really cross
His name
with me.
is Mr. Panks.
Mr. Panks.
My favourite character.
Yeah, and he basically is... he's the person who goes around and gets the rent off of people. And... but he huffs and he puffs when he walks, and you can sort of almost imagine him walking along, so he calls him the tugboat as he comes in, huffing and puffing and steaming his way into places, and his hair sticks up on end and stuff.
Yeah, he's always like grabbing his hair.
Always grabbing his hair.
Yeah.
So that was really good. But there's other little sections of characters as well. I mean, there's the Clennams. They're very, very, very crucial to this story. There's Arthur Clennam and his mum, and his mum is an elderly lady who lives in a very, it sounds like a really not very nice house, but I suppose once it was quite grand, but it's not now. It's a bit, run down, and lives there with Mr. Flintwich.
Yeah, I think that was his name.
Flintwich, and his wife
Avery.
Affery?
Affery.
Yeah, don't know.
There were lots of characters in this
There were
book.
loads of characters, but you get to know them and you get to really like them. But there's some very descriptive chapters where you could literally nod off to sleep, and that is done deliberately. And it's done. There's an office called the I can't even say it. The Circumlocution Office, the Circumlocation Office or something. And basically, it's just where you go along and it's a government department.
Yeah.
And he wants to find something out, but you go to one office and they say, oh no, we can't do that here. You've got to go to another. Pretty much like, life now. You've got to go to another office, and he goes there, oh no, we can't tell you this, and not until you fill out these forms and that forms. There's one whole chapter which literally drove me insane with just him. That was Arthur Clennam, wasn't it? And he was trying to find out some information.
And just being sent person to
person. And the people that work in these offices just drove me insane. So I guess they're modern day civil servants, aren't they?
Yeah, and they were called the Barnacles collectively. Every Barnacle chapter, I think that's what slowed me down, because as soon as I got to a Barnacle chapter, I got really tough to read through it.
Yeah.
I was like, no, I don't want to read about these people anymore.
Barnacles.
And then that would slow down. As soon as you got back into the rest of the story, then it would move on. Really quickly.
It would move on. Yeah.
But I think if I reread it, which I probably won't because it's long, but if I did, then I'd probably enjoy those chapters more now.
Yeah.
I've got to the end of it than I did
because
at the beginning.
you really understand, don't you? What's going on. There's a girl called Flora.
Yeah, Flora. I liked Flora.
And she's a previous girlfriend of Arthur Clennam's. That's all. Previous girlfriend of Arthur Clennam, and in her chapters, when she starts talking, he leaves out all of the full stops, commas, and everything, because she's a bit like me. Starts talking, doesn't come up for air, so it's just.
And I have to say, actually, I listened to the audiobook, and the narrator I had was so good. I'll put the name on the screen so I don't waste time looking for it here.
Yeah.
But the narrator was amazing. So if you want to listen to it, I would really recommend it, because he does the voices
so it's strange, really, because I found whoever was doing the narration on my one, because obviously, you know, Dickens has got a certain way of a style of writing, and sometimes you can read a whole bit and then you think, I have no idea what he's talking about, and you've got to go back. So I found that was quite hard for me to listen to and actually stay really engaged with what he was talking about. So I actually read the book. I only listened to a tiny bit of audio because I found that it was washing over me.
But I think I had to get used to his writing style before I could listen to it without reading along. Yeah, but it was good. It
was really good. And the basic premise of the two books are Book the First. I think it's called Book the First because it's not book one or part one.
I don't think we can say what's going on in the books. Let's go into spoiler territory now. Okay, go on.
Okay, so in the first half of the book, the main characters, Little Dorrit and her family, are in the Marshalsea prison, and they're really, really poor. And Arthur Clennam is trying his hardest to find out. He knows there's a connection somehow with his mum, but he doesn't quite know what it is, but he feels partially responsible for them being in there, but he doesn't really know why. So do you know what? I never actually found out why. We read the whole book. I never quite managed to work out what the connection was.
What?
No.
We found that was a massive reveal at the end.
Yeah, I know. She's going to have to explain this to me because I got a little bit confused.
Yeah, you do know. So Clennam's mum, she remembered right at the end.
Yeah, but how did that get Little Dorrit's dad into prison?
Oh, you mean that bit?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it did.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. But he was trying to get him out, and I thought
because he thought his mum had done something directly to Mr. Dorrit, but I don't think she did.
No.
She withheld money, but it wasn't withheld from Mr. Dorrit. It was withheld from Amy.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the whole of the first half of the book is them being really, really poor, and then towards the end of the first book, I'm sure that's what they call it. They discover that they've come into lots of money, and it's them. They've got all this money, and they can leave the prison, and that's such a lovely kind of scene at the end, isn't it? Where they haven't got very much, and as they're leaving, they called him the father of the Marshalsea because he was a really nice man.
Yeah,
and he was always kind to people. And when new prisoners came
was he always kind to people?
Yeah, he was really. They really respected him,
but he kept himself like the top of the prison.
Yeah,
because he felt he was more important than everyone, I guess.
Oh,
well, I don't know. That's what I thought.
I thought it always came across that he was very kind, and when he left, he gave things to the other people. He gave them his cap and stuff like that. Didn't
he like accept money from people? Like he wanted gifts brought to him.
I don't remember that bit.
Yeah, like in the prison when he'd meet someone, he'd be like, "Oh yes, remember people come and like give me like some." They used to went and give him some money and stuff.
Oh.
And when he left, he was nice, so he did like help the prisoners out, and he like gave them money and things like that.
Oh, okay.
But I think he was like the respectable person in the prison.
Yeah, okay.
Where people came and like offered him things because he was the father of the Marshalsea.
Oh right, okay. Yeah, maybe there was, and then after he was gone, there was another father of the Marshalsea, wasn't there? There was somebody else that took up his position, which I can't think who that was.
Yeah.
So that all happens, and they go off into the sunset, basically, with all their wealth and everything, and the book ends. And that literally could be where the story ends, that they come into all the bit. It doesn't tie up a lot of loose endings, though. It doesn't tie up everything else. So the second book is...
when they're super rich, and the dad turns mean. He's so mean suddenly. And, we didn't talk about Amy's sister. Amy has an older sister called Fanny. She is the worst. She's the worst person.
Yeah, she's not very nice.
And she was already stuck up even when her dad was in prison, and she grew up kind of in the prison. She was already pretty stuck up then.
She remembered being rich, you see.
Yeah.
She's older than Amy.
Yeah.
Amy was born there, and her mother died after she was born. But Fanny's a little bit older, and so she remembered being rich, and she was like just outraged all the time about having to be there. She hated the fact that Amy didn't seem to mind being poor, and then when they came into all of this money, she was she just literally flew right back up to her station.
That was one of my favourite storylines, where when she was a poorer dancer in the theatre, she went to one of the rich boys liked her, and she was going to visit his mother, and then the mum gave her this really expensive piece of jewellery, didn't she? And then Fanny was really annoyed about it. I can't remember why now.
No, I can't remember.
But it was like an insult to her that the mum had like paid her off, I think, not to pay any attention to the son anymore.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
And then when she was rich, she was now richer than that woman.
Yeah.
And then she made it her life's mission to make the woman's life miserable.
Yeah.
And so,
So she married his son.
Married her son. But didn't like him, but only wanted to marry so that she could make
she
this
didn't
woman's
like,
life hell.
his mum's description in it was the bosom. Was
Yeah,
she the
she was
bosom?
the bosom,
She
yeah.
was the bosom. So, Mrs.
She was the bosom.
Mrs.
Mrs. Myrtle.
Mrs. Myrtle.
Myrtle,
So
yeah.
Mrs. Myrtle was the bosom.
Yeah.
And and her son comes across as being, you know, a nice person.
Yeah, he
but
was
she's
nice.
Fanny's just really horrible to him. Got no time for him. And there's
Yeah.
one scene where they're abroad because they live abroad. I think they're in Italy, aren't they? I think it was in Italy when they got married. First of all, they're abroad, and it's really, really hot.
Italy, yeah.
And there's only her and him in the room, and he's talking to her, and he's saying, "Can I get in?" And she's going, "Oh, can you?" She just didn't even want him in the room. She just wanted him out of the room. Can you just stop talking? It was almost, "Can you just stop talking? Can you go away? This is the worst 24 hours of my life, being here with you."
And I think that's why I liked his writing style so
Yeah.
much, because he just made such real characters,
Yeah.
and you could just picture her. She was just, she was a cow, but
Yeah,
she
was.
wasn't unrealistic
Yeah,
in any way.
yeah, it was
And
very good.
it was very entertaining, even though she was horrible.
Yeah. And then towards the end of the book, you find out that Arthur Clennam's mum had a secret that his dad had had an affair with somebody.
No,
Yeah.
I think it was before they were together, wasn't it?
No, while they were married.
Oh.
Yeah, when they were married, he'd had. It was because I suppose at the time it was written in, he didn't call it an affair. It was just that he'd been with this unknown woman, we don't know who she was, and had a child, and her punishment to the woman that had done that was to take her child away from her and bring him up as her own, and that is Arthur Clennam.
Yeah.
So the big secret is that Arthur's mum wasn't really his mum. But right at the very, very end of the book, the convicts turn up again. And they're in it all the way through, aren't they, really? They turn up in various places and intertwine with other characters in the book. And then right at the very end of the book, one of those people knows the secret. Blandois knows the secret. He's found paperwork, and he's got this paperwork, and they try really hard to get hold of that so that Arthur never finds out. And at the very, very end, the paper's thrown into the fire, isn't it? Amy throws it into the fire, so Arthur never gets to find out that his mum wasn't his mum.
I'm not sure about that, but yeah, maybe that is what.
Well,
happened.
Tatty Coram brings the box back. This 2 foot by 2 foot
Yeah,
square
but I
box on the boat.
I thought Amy got rid of the thing about Amy that was the secret, the money that she had, that she should have been given.
No, I don't think so.
Maybe, yeah.
Oh, maybe, I don't know.
I don't know, yeah, you're probably right. But actually, we're going to watch the series, because we found a series of Little Dorrit.
Really excited to watch it.
Yeah, so we're going to watch it, so then, I guess it'll clear up.
Yeah, because if there are bits in it, because of the way that it's written,
And because we took a year to read it.
and there's bits that we kind of didn't do too badly in remembering. It was like picking up talking to a friend. Every time you pick the book up again, you thought, oh, I remember these people.
Yeah,
so a lot of it did stay in there.
Yeah, it was good. And I think, what was your favourite character? I have a few favourite characters.
I did like Amy. I thought Amy was very sweet. I liked Maggie. And
Maggie.
Maggie was a girl that's obviously, got some kind of learning difficulties that Amy took under her wing. So she always she was much bigger than Amy, but she she always called Amy her little mother.
Yeah.
So Maggie was really sweet. So she was a nice character. I kind of liked Tatty Coram as well, especially when she was having a strop and they made her, when she was like, had to go and count every time she was having a strop in the beginning.
He was giving her. Actually, that was interesting because who was that? Mr.
Miggles.
Mr. Middles.
The names, obviously. Trying to remember their names.
Mr.
I think we're doing quite
Miggles
well.
Gave her coping strategies, which was quite interesting. So I feel like that's something that people say now, right? Close your eyes.
Close your eyes,
count to, was it like count to 27?
It was 26 or 27. It was always that number for some reason. Weird. But we didn't know why.
Yeah, because she was always raging about a situation. She hated her name, she hated everything, and then she'd have to stand and count to 27 to calm down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was her real name Harriet?
Harriet, yeah.
Oh, yeah. See, I'm doing quite well remembering their names. It's a bit of a miracle, really. I'm not great at that.
Yeah, I liked her, but I wasn't that too interested in that part of the story, to be honest.
No.
But, yeah. Because there was Mrs... What was the woman that took Harriet in?
It was a short name. Wade.
Mrs. Wade.
There you go.
Mrs. Wade.
Jake Osage.
Because
Miss Wade.
I thought it was interesting. I felt sorry for Miss Wade because she just hated the world because she felt like everyone was taking the mickey out of her when they were being nice.
Yeah.
And can you imagine living like that?
But she was someone in a similar position to Tatty Coram, and they meet each other at some point in the story, somehow, in London. And
no, they meet on the boat right at the beginning.
Oh, was it on the boat?
When they were on the boat coming over, when they were with Clennon as well. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and so she sees in Tatty Coram what she sees in herself, but she's forever angry with the world, whereas Tatty Coram goes full circle in the end and sees the error of her ways and realises like being angry with everybody about what's happened, and then she goes back in the end, doesn't she, to the Miggles and says, I realise now that you were nothing but kind to me, and wants to go back to live with them, doesn't she? So a part of me wanted her to remain independent, and because calling her Tatty Coram wasn't a very nice name.
I wish it flipped and then they were like, sorry Harriet, and then they saw the error.
And they saw the error of their ways, but they didn't really, did they?
No.
They
didn't.
I
feel like we should have been on... I feel like Charles Dickens wanted us to be on their side, getting her back the whole time as well.
Yeah, maybe.
Especially because Clennon went over and he was trying to get her back.
Yeah.
And we know that the Myrtles are nice.
Yeah.
So I think that's what... But we didn't. We wanted her to be free. But I guess that's the difference in the times.
That's the difference in the times. I read something about when I finished reading the whole book at the very end, critics at the time said that they felt it was one of Charles Dickens' worst books, but critics now say it's one of his absolute masterpieces, and because he was very much a social commentator on what was going on around him. He was very much very aware of the inequity of the rich and the poor, with London being as it was then and as it is now. But there were some really nice things. I mean, being a Londoner, and when he's walking around and he names what the roads are and where he is, and he talks about St Paul's Cathedral and London Bridge, and I love that. And the fact that when he said, talks about going somewhere, and it's having to get a horse. Getting in a horse and carriage, and like the transport, because you kind of forget that you're reading something set such a long time ago until he talks about the transport. And how when they went to Calais, and they went over to Calais just on like a tug or something.
Did they?
A ferry or something. They went to Calais, and then when they got to Calais, he wasn't very nice about the people that lived in Calais. He called them. All not very nice names, and but they were all like vying for your business and all, like beggars, all beggars in Calais trying to get your money, and sort of leaning into his little horse and trap and stuff like that. So I like the fact that he took the time when he wrote those books to include what the characters, but what the actual real world was like. Yeah,
it was interesting. I liked reading that stuff as well.
Yeah, it was a great book.
I would read all of his stuff now, to be honest. I would try all of it.
Did you know that his very first book was A Christmas Carol?
I did not know that. I own it, and I read half of it last Christmas. I didn't finish it.
And he wanted it. He wrote it about 2 weeks or something before Christmas. I think somebody asked him to write a book, and he wrote it a couple of weeks before Christmas, and he wanted it published and in the shops for Christmas, and obviously to get books printed and bound in those days was very difficult. I can't remember the exact story, but he managed to get it pushed out into the shops, and it sold out instantly. Yeah, so for that
it's a good story, to be fair.
It's a great story.
Well, I guess that's it.
I guess that's it. Oh, Little Dorrit's all finished. We've talked about it. We have to watch the thing now.
Yeah, we'll watch about the thing and let you know if it's any good in the next episode. Hopefully not next year. So yeah, like I say, let us know if you've read Little Dorrit and what you thought of it. So yeah, thank you for watching.
Thanks for watching.
Episode 2 of the Get Out More Girls.
Take care. Bye now.
Hello everyone. Bye.